Do you generate business from referrals right now, but you want to move beyond those referrals into the greater market where you can have more predictable sales flow and maybe even potentially more customers? Well, you have to be aware of the referral gap. This is something that comes up with folks who are unaware of the challenges that you have going from referral-based marketing or referral-based sales to the greater market. And again, there's a lot of really good growth opportunities there, but these gaps create certain challenges that are not easily overcome with what you've done up to now is not what you can do to get to that greater market. So let's dive in and learn why. At the middle, we've got these referrals. And again, these are going to be the very easy transacted. You talk about something to someone, they have value, they pass your name on. It seems very easy. And it is, because that trust transference automatically happens. But then you have the next level, and this is the periphery. Now, the periphery is just like it sounds, where we see things out of the corner of our eye. So they may be familiar with you. They may know the types of work that you do, but they really don't know who you do it for, why you do it. Again, it's just kind of like in the background. And there are certain things there that's a gap. We need to address those. And the last one's going to be maybe what you might call the greater market. Wow, there's so many companies that could use our service or use our product. But right now, just like the song, they are as cold as ice. So that's going to be a little bit different than marketing to get more referrals. So let's talk about why. Here in the middle, we've got the circle of warm fuzzies. These people, they could buy whatever you have to sell, right? They move your name on. You could be selling cookies, you sell insurance, you sell marketing. You could sell 50 different things because every time you get referred, nobody looks at your website. They don't care if you have a LinkedIn. They don't do much to validate you whatsoever because the person that transferred that trust to you or trust to them vouches completely for you. And this is a very good thing. Don't get me wrong. This is a very, very good thing. They've had such a great experience. They just pass your name on and the person's so busy or they're so, again, whatever is going on in their world, they just need someone they can trust. And this happens. So the greatest thing about this is this transacts pretty quickly. But then once we move beyond those referrals and we say, I would love to grow my company bigger and a little bit more, quickly and predictably. Okay, so we're going to start marketing to people outside of our referral base. Now, here's where it starts to get tricky. In that next layer, this is our first gap. And that gap is a big gap, and it all is filled with trust issues. Now, just because we're having a product or a service that can solve a problem doesn't mean that they're automatically going to say, yes, I want to work with you. But what we start to have here is this behavior where people will validate what you said or what they heard with what they can find online. So when they go to their website, are they finding what you said in a meeting to be true, or is it a different message than what they've given you in that meeting? Are they finding what you said you are and who you serve on LinkedIn to be the same as what they find when they look at your profile? Are they finding that to be true when they look for who's talking about you online? Again, all these things are going to be really, really important at this stage because any crack in that trust is going to present an even bigger gap, and that's going to be difficult to overcome in building that relationship. They really do a lot of research here, and what you don't want is to be the first of anything. They don't want to take a risk on you. On the referrals, there is no risk. So they know someone else already took a risk with you and had a good experience. On this periphery, this is where that, again, website credibility, that's subject matter expertise matters, as well as those case studies and trusted that process. If you can be predictable with what's going to happen next, that's where you're going to build that trust and comfort. The next one, this is the greatest opportunity for growth. And this is where the biggest amount of disconnect comes when you're building a marketing plan or a sales plan to reach these folks. They are as cold as ice. So one, think about this. Everyone else and their mother is trying to reach them too. So they're getting bombarded by messages. They don't know you from Adam, and they have a ton of questions and they don't want you to waste their time. So they want to have, what's your track record? Show me. Let me figure all of this out on my own without having to take a sales meeting with you. If I really do have this problem, I shouldn't have to get on a demo with you or talk with you first in order to get a little bit of insight into what your company does. This one is just like a relationship building platform. It's not a Tinder. You're not swiping for one specific day. You're swiping for an entire 12 months of particular relationship building. This is going to be, why are you talking to me? Why is it that you're going to be reaching out to me? Be clear, be specific. Who do you serve? The tactics that are going to come into play here are, this is where we see podcasting and video very helpful because I can follow you for 12 months and listen and make sure that I'm comfortable with who you are and what value you have before I actually reach out and talk to you. So the cold as ice is definitely something you can warm as you bring into that circle of warm fuzzies. But to go from ice to warm fuzzies, this is where the disconnect lies in folks getting that marketing spend and the expectation down pat. Now, this is another thing to consider is you could actually reach out to warm fuzzies with 1 or 2 emails and you're going to get a response. You can reach out to the periphery, maybe with a couple of emails or calls or connections because of an event, a trade show. Cold as ice, folks, not the same story. So again, those expectations and that behavior shifts and change. And it's something you have to keep in mind as you build a marketing plan to move outside of your referral base. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind as we move through these and expectations and timelines. Referrals, we have them marked as green because referrals are basically printing cash. Wonderful. They're just a little bit unpredictable cash, and there is a finite amount of them. You play this too hard and you run the risk of burning them out. Now they're fast, they're unpredictable. You need to constantly farm these. You need to thank these folks. This is not a hose you can constantly turn on and off. It is a relationship. And in the speed here, you get referred, it's pretty quick. So 4 weeks, you might just need a couple of videos, a couple of testimonials, a landing page. That's going to be the extent of most likely a marketing plan just for referrals. On the periphery, we start to get into more modern professional marketing and the need for validity and credibility. So the speed does actually then increase. So we're going to have about 12 weeks, and we're just using that as a benchmark. Each industry is different, but about 3 times longer to convert people that are in that periphery stage. We've got validity and credibility. Again, you might have one case study, but if the case study you have isn't specific for my industry, I might take it with a grain of salt. So think about what you want to invest in at this stage, because all of this does matter. This is also why when you go to that periphery and the cold as ice step beyond this periphery stage, you're going to have people say, do I look like this? Do I sound like this? Is this me? That's how we make decisions. And if that's how we make decisions, that's how our customers make decisions. And if we're not specific, we say we're going to be something for everyone, we end up being for no one. Speed here again is going to be 3 times more, so 12 weeks. Cold as ice, we're making these folks blue because they are cold. They can be unfroze, but we have lots of growth opportunities here. So this is where the majority of our market growth lies. We do have to spend time understanding what are their pains, what are the challenges, who do they trust in the periphery and the warm fuzzy circles, so we can work on our plan to then establish that path inward. We need to have a lot of patience and a lot of consistency. A podcast launched here and ran for 3 months is not going to help a lot of traction. A podcast launched here and ran for 12 months, 24 months, that's where we start to see a lot more traction. Think about this. A lot of people start things and few finish. So people on this cold as ice are also looking at, are they sticking with it? Are they going to be around? Because nobody wants to hire a company that starts and stops things, because what that tells me is you might start and stop on me too. So that's very important in the cold as ice. You must look the part. This is definitely where you're going to start to see, hey, I'm not going to trust you because your website is outdated. And I will never tell you that. But if I'm as cold as ice, I don't care. I looked at your site, you look outdated, bye-bye. Okay, that's going to be really important. Also important is going to be the things that you say about your company, the types of certifications that you have, the way in which you communicate with them at large. And then periphery, actually, this one's wrong. Actually, no, it's not. Periphery speed times 4. So here we've got 12 weeks. This one might be more like 48 weeks. So if you think about this relative here, we've got like a month for referrals, 3-ish months for the periphery, and then anywhere from 9 months to 12 months. Sometimes the bigger the sales cycle or the bigger the sale, you might have even more time. But this one is so, so important because you're cold as ice, folks. If you do this right, you can bring them into the periphery and then bring them in, and then they can start to be a source of referrals. So really all of this works together. It's just so important that you understand each time you go out a level, there is more investment, and what you did at that level before is not the recipe of what it's going to take to get to that outer crust. So to have a healthy plan, you incorporate all of these. And the way to look at this might be bottom, middle, and funnel. We're not going to talk about the funnel stages. I just want you to think about this in terms of referrals and how to move from that inner circle to a marketing strategy that encompasses the greater market. And again, if you want tactics or advice specific to your company, let me know and we can probably do a little bit of an assessment for you. But getting this out here, because this is a very popular question, A lot of mismatched expectations about this online, but hopefully this is helpful today, and I'd love to hear your comments.